do or stop doing? I hope that answers it.
That's my two questions right now. It does. It does.
Yeah.
It does. And I too have a bonus question for you.
Gotcha.
And this goes just a little bit outside of the realm of sales.
All right.
But I think it's a pretty important question to ask. And I just want your honest perspective.
Gotcha.
We're still, in the midst of everything with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
And it's, it has been important. It will always be important.
Right.
I'm trying to deploy the approach of listen, learn, and love.
Yeah.
If you just kind of break that down and create the connection in between Black Lives Matter, listen to what the Black experience is, because it's not my experience. So I have to listen to that. I have to be open to hear that. I have to be open to all of that.
Right.
Learn about their lives, learn about just learn about everything, right? Learn about what's going on in their life. And it may look different than mine. It probably is. There's different things that are going on in your life that are happening in my life. It's because we're different people, but I need to understand and I need to learn more, right, so that I can actually have that understanding. And then love, you can't really say that something matters to you.
Right.
You can't say that something that you love matters to you unless you go through those first two steps. So listen, learn, love has been what I've been trying to do, and that I've been having my wife and my girls, and that's kind of the lens by which we're looking through it. Mm-hmm. Cody, what are we missing? What is it that I can do better? How is it that I can be better? Yeah. What is it that you need people to hear? That's my question.
That's a great one. I personally, for you, Alex, you have been what all of us should aspire to be. Even before we connected, before we went on our sales trip to Robbins, Illinois, and I don't even know, just way down by Indiana.
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Before this friendship bloomed, you were fair. And that is something that is missing from the heart of, I think, business practices, from the heart of America. And that starts at home. Like you said, you started with your girls. All that fairness, just giving somebody the benefit of a doubt, solves 98% of the problems. When it comes to organizations, the problem is it's hard to address or adopt or make a stance and say Black Lives Matter, but you're not willing to address the elephants in the room. When you ask me the mentorship question, well, one of the problems is if you're the only Black guy or Black person in the office, even though it shouldn't matter, but you'd be surprised. Sometimes natural gravitation, somebody willing to put their arms around you. Sometimes you don't, others might not know what to say or how to interpret. Right. So having representation in management and executive leadership solves a lot of that issues. And when you don't have that, when you have your top 500 Fortune companies and only out of the 500 CEOs, 8 of them are of color, of Black people. So you're talking about 0.4, I think is like 0.04%, right? So, I mean, when you have less than 1% of the nation's executive leadership actually looks like me or some variation of me, it's going to be internally problematic. It just is. And I'm not saying like develop a quota system. I'm not saying that, but I am saying we have to look hard at why. And I don't know what the why is. I think I know what the why is, but we really have to look hard at the why, because it's one thing for organizations to make a statement. It's another thing for them to donate money, and all that is needed and all that is wanted. It's another thing to get Juneteenth off, and thank God for it. But when it comes down to it, is it really about equality? Not understanding or recognizing value as far as existence, right? So if it's about equality, then you have to say, I looked at my, S levels, director levels, C levels, and, my diversity analytics are way off. Why? Is it because we're not targeting certain schools, certain areas? Why is there so much homogeneousness or homogeneity within the corporate ranks? And that is really where you start. And I haven't seen from really any organization, maybe other than Amazon, that has pushed the changing of executive leadership, right? The evolving of it. And I think the other thing we have to recognize is if I win, you win. You know, like it's not this, you know, the old saying goes, when the tide rises, all ships sails. That's true. If we're just asking for a boat, so when the tide rises, we can sail too, just give them a boat. You know, like it's not this, if I win, oh my God, I'm gonna lose everything. Nobody has ever advocated for that. It's just that, are we really being fair in our policies, in our practices, in our evaluations? Do we really give honest and truthful benefit of a doubt when it comes to anything? Is there a double standard? And maybe one can argue it's not the organization's job, and that's a fair argument. Organizations are not designed, when somebody starts up, like I want to sell, no, I'm not sponsored by this, but I want to sell water. You know what I'm saying?
Shameless plug.
Yeah, Shayla's right. Hey, Smart Water, give me a call. But they're not designing their company to say, let's take on the global impact and the global problems of the world. So I totally get that. But when you're dealing with people and when you have such a breadth of reach and you're impacting lives, you do have to look internally at your processes and say, and just have an answer for it. You know, even if it's not the greatest answer, which is fine. There's no perfect entity, organization, or person. I'm not about you having a perfect answer, but it is about having an answer. And then from that answer, developing processes to make sure we can have a better tomorrow. And I think if organizations can adopt that, you can really get through this. I think what's happening now, and I've had this conversation, we're trying to get back to business as usual, but business as usual in light of things is detrimental to that cause. So you have to do both simultaneously, and it can be done. Organizations just have to want to have it. They have to want to be able to look and diversify. Diversity really has to mean something honestly to them, and it's not a talking point, and it's not a barometer that they just check off. And if it becomes desired and holistically just wanted like that, I won't say all the world's problems, but you'll be able to really tackle a lot of stuff.